I started acting strangely. I wasn't aware that I was acting strangely, but my children noticed something. My life was over. I didn't know what I was living for. I kept hoping that some miracle will happen and change things, but that didn't happen. I'm a failure. My family is shattered. My marriage hit the rocks. If it means dying, I want to die.
These were the thoughts going through Joseph's mind at a crucial period of his life. He had a peaceful family life in the Netherlands, along with his wife and 3 sons. But the storm arose when his eldest son could not settle in school and had to be removed from school before the age of 10.
My eldest son has ADHD, attention deficiency, and hyperactivity syndrome. So that's where it started, because the school didn't realize why he was acting strangely in school. But later on, they found out what the reason was for his behavior. He was taken back into school, and the storm subsided, as it were.
However, it became apparent that his son would not be able to continue school. His condition did not improve, and the only option presented to the family was for their son to be sent to a juvenile correction center.
And I remember asking them, what kind of place is that? They said, they gave us one of those very cozy names. But when I looked it up, I realized that it was a juvenile center. They were going to put him with children who had sold drugs, children who had raped, children who had committed burglary, who had broken into cars. And I told them, that guy has a large mouth. He doesn't sit still, but he's not a criminal. You take him to that place. When he comes out 2 years from now, he's going to be worse than he went in. We're not going along with that. And my wife said the same. And then they told us, if you don't want him to go there, one of you has to quit his or her job to stay home and take care of the guy. And they told us right there, they said, Madam, it's not going to be you because he doesn't listen to you. He doesn't respect your authority. It has to be the father.
Joseph had 1 week to decide whether to give up his livelihood and become a stay-at-home dad or keep his career, and his son would be sent to the notorious juvenile center.
I was very, very disturbed because they were asking me to do something I had not seen anybody do in my family. Nobody had ever done this. I come from a culture where the man goes out to work. You bring in the money, make sure there's food on the table, but we don't stay in the house to look after children. I told him, I said, you don't know what you're asking me. I can't do this.
Joseph went through a week of hell and emotional turmoil, trying to come to terms with the consequences of becoming a full-time carer for their son and a stay-at-home dad.
I remember that entire week I was very, very worried. I wanted to be there for my son. But the thought of giving up my job to stay home, it scared me. It scared me really a lot. And on the day we're supposed to go back and tell them what our reply was, my wife came to me, she said, darling, everything we're doing here is because we want to give our children a better future. Are you going to let your 10-year-old son be taken to prison because you want to keep the job?
One of the greatest fears was the impact of stopping to be the breadwinner for the family, how that would change the dynamics of his marriage and the subsequent impact on the family.
But when the time came, we went there and I told them, well, I'm going to do it. I took my hands and I wrote my resignation letter. I was senior translator heading a translation department at a very, very renowned translation agency. I remember writing, I didn't type it, I wrote it with a pen and submitted it to them. And I stayed home. My wife quit her job. She found a job that paid twice as much. She got a brand new car. The first year, everything was okay. But the second year, things began to change. I began to hear things like, well, I'll bring in the money, so I call the shots around here. You do what I say, or you leave. And I remember thinking to myself, this is exactly why I was scared, why I didn't want to quit my job and stay home.
The strain on the relationship continued, and the couple decided to go for counseling sessions in a bid to save their marriage.
We had 4 sessions, and then on our 5th session, she woke up and told the marriage counselor, this is a waste of time. I'm wasting my money and my time. I'm out of here, and I'm going to divorce anyway. We had been married for 20 years. We had 3 children. I didn't have any other family in the Netherlands, so my life was over. I didn't know what I was leaving for. Then I was kicked out of the house on the streets. I didn't have a place to go to. So I spent 3 months there, 4 months there with friends, and eventually had a place of my own. And I started acting strangely. I wasn't aware that I was acting strangely, but my children noticed something, and some friends noticed, and they recommended that I go to a psychiatrist. No, I go to a GP. I went to a GP after I'd spoken to him for about 5 minutes. He sent me to go and see a psychiatrist, and he told me you were suffering from severe depression. He put me on medication. He gave me a lot of antidepressants, which I started taking. At some point, I said, "Oh, these medications are not going to help me. They're not doing anything. I'll put them away." But I continued sinking deeper and deeper into depression. And the council had given me a flat, a 3-bedroom flat on the 3rd floor. I was still in denial. I kept telling myself, I'm doing fine. I'm fine. It took a long time for me to be able to accept that I wasn't doing fine at all. At some point, my children came over to visit me. They saw me. They spent about an hour with me. They were just staring at me, not saying much. When they went back, they rang up my sister in Chicago. They told her, "Auntie, our dad is not doing fine at all. Our dad used to be very, very lively, very happy, very, very resilient. But that guy who sits there staring into space is not like that. You must do something to get him out of here before it becomes too late."
Before Joseph's family could get involved, it was almost too late, as his depression triggered suicidal tendencies in him.
I remember standing on the balcony one day and staring into space. I could hear this voice saying to me, "This is no life. You're not living. You're just breathing. How long are you going to keep up like this? You know you can put an end to this. Just jump down there." And I spoke out loud. I said, "Satan, shut up." And I got in and shut the door. I bolted the door.
From that moment, Joseph got his deliverance. He relocated to the United Kingdom to start the long journey towards rebuilding his life. Part of that process led him to New Wine Church in Woolwich, London.
Yeah, when I came to New Wine, I was very, very bitter. I didn't trust anybody. I was very, very critical. I was looking for mistakes. Anything that didn't go well.
Gradually, Joseph found a place to belong in New Wine Church as he started having encouraging fellowships with other members of the church, inspiring worship, and transformed by the word of God through the ministry of Pastor Michael Olawore, the senior pastor of New Wine Church.
You may look at your life today and say to yourself, "It's worth nothing." Never ever use your mouth to draw such conclusion. Never ever come to a place in life when you think your story has ended. Never ever come to a place in life when you think you are not making impact. Of course, you may not have seen it, but every step you take it in the will of God. As a believer, every step in your life is taken in the will of God. Even your mistakes, your pain, they are tools in the hand of God for His purpose. Your discouragement, your disappointment, they are tools in the hands of God. There is nothing about your life that is wasted.
The first thing that struck me about the guy is that he is very, very down to earth. But he is also very, very straight to the point. He doesn't beat about the bush. He doesn't sweeten the gospel to make people stay.
Every gathering at New Wine that Joseph experienced reflects a strong emphasis on the grace of God through worship, prayer, the word of God, excellence in ministry, and the manifestation of the power of God.
I come from Kingston. It takes me about 2 hours to get here. There are lots of churches in Kingston area. Friends told me, "Why do you waste your time? Why do you travel that far to go to church? Aren't there any churches around where you live?" I said, "No, I'm not looking for a church. I'm looking for a place where the Spirit of God is at work. It's a big family here."
By the grace of God, the hold of depression and bitterness has been broken in Joseph's life. He serves faithfully in the multimedia team of New Wine Church. He is a member of the New Wine French Church and one of the delegates involved in the launch of New Wine Church in Luxembourg. Joseph also has an exciting job as a Dutch and French technical support officer in the London office of an international electronics company. He recently started his master's program in IT and computer studies. Furthermore, Joseph has access to his children and have a very good relationship with them. His eldest son has settled in life and now is a military personnel in the Dutch army.
Through the ministry of New Wine Church, God has been doing an awesome work of restoration in my life to the point where I can call my children in the Netherlands and encourage them when they're going through difficulties, I can encourage them. The only reason why I can encourage my children, given what I've been through, is because of the great work that God is doing in my life, in this church, to the members of this congregation.
If you'd like to know more about the ministry of New Wine Church or how New Wine Church can serve you and your loved ones, contact New Wine using the details on your screen. New Wine Church, where you are valued, not numbered.